Hey everyone, as you can see, I'm alive and kicking. I've been let out of hospital, although I do believe I've been let out a little bit too early. I've still got some chest pains. I'm still feeling fatigued and very tired, but I'm doing okay. It was a big scare for me and the family. And, thank you so much to everyone for your good wishes. Everyone came together. It was really nice to see people from both camps wishing me to get well and hoping I recover soon. And I genuinely really, really appreciate it. So, my voice may sound a little groggy. It's just because I'm under a lot of medication, even at home. So we'll see how it goes. I wanted to get this video out just so one, I can talk about how I am and how I'm doing, and hopefully ease some of you. I am doing better. I just am sleeping a lot, which is normal, I guess, after the ordeal I've gone through. But, you know, really, thank you so much to everyone who has just turned up and, posted a message, a get well message, be it on Discord, be it on X. It really means a lot to me. And, just thank you. But as the thumbnail suggests, we are talking about Game Pass, and I just wanted to, it does seem like every time something happens where I can't stream or something goes on, big things happen, right? And it looks like Chris String is always in the middle of things. So let's get into it. But first, I want to talk about just one more thing before we jump into the main topic. So as you can see, I posted these two tweets, one on the 6th and one on the 7th. And, I appreciate everyone, wishing me get well soon. I really appreciate it. There's a lot of messages here. Thank you so much to all that reached out as well in DMs, in Discord DMs, over in my Discord. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I couldn't reply to everyone. I was sleeping a lot and I may have missed some as well. So if I did, it wasn't intentional, not that I wanted to disrespect anyone. I just wasn't conscious. And if it went through and I didn't see it, that's why. But, you know, I posted this and I'm saying time for shout out because, but I appreciate all the messages. I thought I'd send a nice get well message. And so I get this, wishing me a get well message, just like anyone else, right? This is what normal people do. And then I've been followed with this. I mean, this came, you know, a couple of hours after he wished me get well. I'm going to tag the clown community and ask them what's going on. Bear in mind, I've just had a heart attack. He's aware that I've had a heart attack, so he wants to come attacking me after I've posted a message saying that I'm getting better and do this. Now, I don't care whether you made a false judgment or whatever. This is not what you do, man. This is not what you do. This is not how you conduct yourself as a human being, and you should be ashamed of yourself. You're talking to someone that was, could have died, and this is the way you want to respond? An hour after you posted, "I hope you feel better," you're gonna turn around and call them the clown community? I mean, do I need to say more? But it gets worse, right? And I am gonna show up this guy because he is the biggest flip-flopper known to mankind. He is even a bigger flip-flopper than Tim Dog and Peter Ovo. But he's attacking Dirk Griggity because Dirk Griggity won't change the shirt to a PlayStation logo. And I'll read what he wants him to do. He's asking an Xbox focused channel to make a shirt, but change the necklace to a PlayStation one that says PlayStation Nation World Domination on the back and have some kind of meme where it's stomping out Xbox. In which sane world do you think that that's normal? Now, I had a minor heart attack, right? And then my brain right now isn't fully working and isn't fully able to comprehend stuff because it's still all over the place. But even I can understand that this is one of the most pathetic things you can do as a human being. Well, no, what he did to me was one of the most pathetic things you can do as a human being. But this, expecting him and then going on to complain that he is a consumer and he is always right, and then thinking that that's right. You wouldn't walk into a Muslim restaurant and ask for a pork meal, but he would, right? This is the type of guy that would. So it's no surprise that he wished me to get better and then followed that up by saying, I'm part of the clown community, and went on to attack me while I was pretty much on my deathbed. This is the type of people that I have to deal with. Now, I'm calling these people out because I said the next time someone comes at me with something stupid or dumb, if you remember what happened in my stream, I'm going to call them out, and I don't care anymore. So I'm calling them out. If you don't want to be called out, don't be an idiot. But anyway, now we can get to the actual core of the video, and we're looking at Game Pass. And obviously, no better way to start Game Pass than the deal that's actually, the games that are coming on. You can see that these are all coming to standard. Uh, these two are only on Ultimate and PC, so that's great, right? You've got Ultimate Chicken Horse, which is whatever. And then you've got Ascent, which I highly recommend you play because it is an amazing game. But the Legend of Mana series and the Trails of Mana, amazing games. If you're into your JRPGs, definitely check them out. They're really, really good stuff. All right, so we've also got multiple Fallout projects in development, even though Peter Ovo is back on his I Hate Xbox revenge arc. That will probably never end. It's getting more and more pathetic as it goes along. But then you had the whole Chris Dring article, right? That basically turned around and said that Xbox Game Pass isn't profitable. And so all of them, whether it's Gurkle, it's MBG, all of them jumped onto this bandwagon of, oh, we always knew it wasn't profitable and all this and all this. And here's my one question to you. Who cares? Why do you care? I don't care if it's profitable, and I'm subscribed to Game Pass. As long as Game Pass exists, I'll keep supporting it. When it stops existing, then I'll just buy the games I want to play. It's really that simple, right? Whether it's successful or not, whether it's profitable or not, is completely irrelevant. There is no relevance to this. As a consumer, all I care about is, am I getting the product I'm paying for? If the answer is yes, that's all that matters. But not to these guys. These guys like to penny punch because they have no games. Just because they've got one Ghost of Yotei coming this year from a first party studio, that's all they care about. That is enough for them. Death Stranding 2 is a pretty good game, but that's an acquired taste. But there is something else I wanted to also just show as well. So you got King Fresh over here. Because when it dies, so does your library. Why not spend the money on games you own? And this is the thing, right? Why does it matter to anyone, whether it's King Fresh, any PlayStation fan, or Xbox fan, or Delulu fan? Why does it matter where I spend my money? Are you giving me my money to spend? Are you the one funding my paycheck? Are you the one that's responsible on how I spend my money? No, so shut the up. It's really that simple. Shut the up, mind your own business, and stop moaning about how I spend my money. Because it's my money. If I want to burn it, I'll burn it. If I want to give it away, I can give it away. It's none of your business, right? But they want it to be their business because deep down they're salty that it's not part of their thing. I'm sorry, I've got no filters today. I'm still recovering. So I'll probably put a warning at the start of the video saying that there was something. But I'll try and be a bit more reserved going forward. As you can see here, Moore's Law is dead, and local Long Island Viper, they got together to have a breakdown on the warnings from game developers that Xbox plans to break compatibility between consoles. Now, this is why I said this guy's full of shit, not Moore's Law, but Long Viper, because he was using the Xbox ROG Ally as the example for this, which doesn't have backwards compatibility, and he was using that as the basis for his arguments. The guy is literally, stupid. Everyone knows that the Xbox ROG Ally is a PC console. That's it. It plays PC games. That's it. There is no backwards. Now, there may be, and Microsoft have said that they want to introduce it to the handheld at a later date. And if that comes along, that is great. But the backwards compatibility, which AMD have confirmed, was for the next generation console. That's it, right? It's going to be baked in hardware level on the next generation console. So this is literally massive clickbait, massive lies, and people ask me why I don't sit down and watch Colin Moriarty because he is a lying. He lies about Xbox, and people will tell him he speaks the truth. He does not, because this right here is manipulating the truth as to what he is trying to put out there to show Xbox bad, because that's literally his, operandi. If he shows Xbox bad, people cheer and support him. That is it. But it's pretty pathetic and sad that he has to go down this, down this route to actually try to manipulate the truth and lie about it to just, try to prove a point when there is no point to be proved in the first place. So we get to the crux of the actual video, and Christopher Dring decided that, he needs to correct and clarify. And I think this is happening way too often with Christopher Dring right now, to the point where he just needs to stop commenting. He is pretty much like Phil Spencer in a certain way. Phil Spencer just needs to stop talking quite a bit. But with Christopher Dring, he kind of delivers the sucker punch, blows up the media, and then comes back 5 seconds later and says, "Hey, by the way, I made a mistake." No one reports on the mistake. Everyone is still reporting on the original claim because that's the juicy one that gets the clicks and that gets him some notoriety. But it's all misinformation. It's all lies, and he may try to spin it afterwards by saying he made a mistake. But as someone who's in the position that he's in, you don't constantly make these mistakes, because if you do, then you're shit at your job. It's really that simple, right? Okay, I need to clarify something. First, Xbox Game Pass is profitable, even when you factor in the lost sales for its first party teams. Sources who would know have told me. Number one, again, who gives a shit? I don't. Right? I don't care how much money a $1 trillion company makes. If Game Pass isn't profitable and they decide to shut it down after my service is done, that's fine. Now, if they shut it down tomorrow and they reimburse me my money, that's fine too. Right? I've got no problems with that. I'll just continue buying my games like I do for games that aren't on Game Pass. It's that simple. Over 18 months ago, I checked with Xbox about what's included in the Game Pass profits and loss. Basically, I was looking to see if Game Pass costs factor in the impact to unit sales of their internal studios. I was told that first party games have their own profits and loss separate to Game Pass as they make money via other means. I assume they mean unit sales, microtransactions, bundles, digital sales, ports to PlayStation and stuff, which makes sense, right? At the end of the day, these studios do need to turn a profit out of the loss. Development cost is a black hole, so they need to turn that red into the black. And this kind of makes sense that games are going to other platforms, especially with Game Pass being there and having its own profit and loss. I'm actually okay with that, reasoning that in order for these studios to turn a profit in terms of unit sales and what they do, they need to reach out to other platforms. I'm perfectly okay with this. It's business at the end of the day, and no one wants people to lose their jobs, right? I felt this piece of internal accountancy might mean Game Pass is profitable, but it sure does not. But it sure does put pressure on margins for its internal games, and possibly means some studios don't make as much profit or any at all. And this is the problem with Game Pass, because I'm playing the game for Game Pass, not buying it, but they're losing those sales. It is cannibalizing those sales. However, if they now release those games to PC, PlayStation, Switch, those are additional avenues for them to make those sales that they didn't have available before. So now they're catering for me as a loyal customer by getting those games day and day on Xbox and PC. And for everyone else, you pay your $70 and $80 and you get your game. So everyone's happy. That doesn't actually matter in real terms, but seeing the impact Game Pass was having on first party games and the amount of money Xbox was spending on studios, I wanted to check if the full impact of the service was being considered in their Game Pass's profitable line. Like, why does it even matter? If it's profitable to them and their shareholders are happy, that's all that matters. And they're making about 500 and anywhere between 550 and 600 million a month right now. That's sustained revenue. Now think about it. During those quiet months when no games are being sold or nothing new is coming out, let's say there's like a 3 month period of nothing new coming, right? Nothing new. 3, 4 months. Let's say 4 months. That is 500, or let's just say, let's put it at a base 550 million times four. That's 2.2 billion, right? That's crazy money. I'm hoping my maths is correct. But at 600, it's even more, right? And that's just in a dead period where there's no games coming out, no first party games. So even though there are periods where Game Pass, people are saying, why isn't it sustainable? It's making up for it in the quieter months, if that's how you want to interpret it in your head. But there is no, it is not profitable. The service makes $5-6 billion a year. It makes a lot of money and it costs roughly about 1.5 billion to run. That's a lot of profit when you think of it in that way, right? The cost is 1.5, the revenue total is about 6 billion. You do the math. This was before Xbox started publishing fully on PS5. Studios can now make stronger margins on premium sales as a result of that move. But regardless to all that, sources have reached out to tell me that even when you include lost revenue associated with first party games, not just unit sales, but microtransactions, Game Pass is still profitable. So that's great. The development cost won't go into Game Pass. It shouldn't need to. That's a studio thing, and then they need to recoup that money and get into either break even or a profit by other means, unit sales, microtransactions, and so forth. When the game's on Game Pass, that's fine. But if I do a microtransaction on there, that goes straight to the studio. And this is why microtransactions are important in this day and age, because it really helps fund the studio. Just look at Helldivers, half of their earnings came from microtransactions, right? Now, everyone obviously is saying, well, no shit. And, obviously, so yes, dev cost spend does not come under Game Pass profit and loss because obviously dev costs can also be recouped via microtransactions, premium sales, DLC. So, when you do like those early buys, you know, early access, that's all going to the publisher. I mean, to the studio, right? That's covering their costs. So there's a lot of stuff here that's actually happening in the background that people just aren't aware of on how these studios are making their money. And as a demo flow says here, the damage is already done. Sony PlayStation fanboys and other media outlets are running with your story. And that was the original goal. In my opinion, Christopher Dring's original goal was to do the damage. He can come out later and retract it and say, hey, I held my hands up, I made a mistake. And that's, and think that's all okay when it's not. It just means you're really shit at your job because this isn't the first time it's happened. It's happened so many times now that I'm pretty guaranteed that it will probably happen again within the next 3 months. It's really that simple. You can't be this bad at your job where you're constantly reporting misinformation and then coming back and trying to correct yourself. Once or twice is fine, but it's pretty consistent with this guy now. It's always happened. Remember that? Oh, I spoke to devs who said they don't even want to know Xbox anymore. And that came out bullshit as well. Let that sink in. I hate that these Helldivers 2 is releasing on. All you have to say was, I hate that Helldivers 2 is releasing on Xbox. You didn't have to create a false narrative to protect Sony, PlayStation from backlash. That's really the truth. And that's all Christopher Dring did. And he may try to deny it, he may try to sugarcoat it, but that is literally what he did. And it's pretty embarrassing. But ultimately, we come back to the original question. Outside of the idiots and the ones that flip flop like there's no tomorrow, or just want to be disrespectful for the sake of being disrespectful, or toxic for the reason of being toxic. The question is, why does it matter where I spend my money? You've got King Fresh turning around and saying, well, why not buy your games? And once this is gone, all your library's gone. That's a conscious choice that I'm making. I'm fully aware of this. And when it's gone, if I want to go and buy them at dirt cheap at secondhand prices or whatever, I can do that. And if I want to wait for a sale, I can do that. If I want to go and buy them brand new at their, you know, when they're not on sale and at their full price, I can do that. I have that choice. Right now, you don't have a choice. Your choice is go buy it secondhand, and you don't support the developer. So I really hope you don't support, you don't go out and buy secondhand games because you guys are all about supporting the developers, right? That's what you guys are all about. Support the developers. So secondhand games should not be a thing for you guys. Everything has to be brand spanking new. So do it. That's your money. You go do what you want. But don't tell other people how to spend their money. That's pretty ignorant of you. in order to do that. But in terms of whether Game Pass is profitable or not, who cares? Microsoft says it's profitable. Their shareholders are happy. What does it matter to anyone else? If they want to lie to themselves and it's not profitable, who cares? That's the ultimate answer, right? As a consumer, I am paying my subscription. I am getting those games and I'm happy. If they stop Game Pass, they can refund my money and I can continue with my purchases wherever I want to. Microsoft is telling me I can play their games anywhere I want, be it PC, Xbox, PlayStation, wherever they're released, I can play it. So if that were to happen and Game Pass was to go away, then that's an option. But tell me, who in the right mind is going to throw away a sustained $550 to $600 million a month? Yeah, no one. I thought so too. Anyway, folks, this whole story was bogus. I know this video has gone on for a bit too long, and I've been talking a little slowly, but it's just because of the condition I'm in. Again, apologies for the swearing at the beginning. I did try to rein it in throughout the video, but my filters are way off. But if you have enjoyed this video and want to continue supporting what I do consider leaving a like, subscribe, hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release, and hopefully you'll enjoy those ones as well. Right, everyone, that's the video. I don't care if Game Pass is sustainable or not. I don't care if they make a profit or not. What I care as a consumer is I'm paying for a product and I'm getting a service. When they deem that they can no longer offer that service, then I'll look elsewhere. It's really that simple. And no one should care whether Game Pass is sustainable or not. It's really that simple. The layoffs that happened, the 9,000 layoffs, had nothing to do with Game Pass. It was their 80 billion investment into AI and their investment into the fact that AI agents are now replacing staff, just like Salesforce is doing and other companies. I think Salesforce recently announced somewhere in the region of about 30K, I read, layoffs because their AI agents are able to do their work. Guess what? In my workplace, the same thing happened. Obviously, we have a much smaller workforce, but AI agents are replacing staff as we speak. So it's everywhere, folks. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. And thank you again for all the good wishes. Peace out. Remain legend.